Hello and welcome to the next episode of Two Girls Talk Transits. Today we're reviewing the astrology from November 17th through November 23rd, and we're your host. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Kaleigh.
And welcome back. So we are coming off of the really disrupting, shaking up the status quo, challenging all your norms and beliefs, full moon in Taurus, and coming into a really kind of positive aspect on November 17th with Mercury and Sagittarius opposite Jupiter and Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably some sort of belief or expansion in your mind, but I think as we talked about before with both of these in detriment, it's definitely a bit over the top or hyper self-confidence or a little bit too dogmatic in the approach, I feel.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I think yeah, Jupiter wants to expand. It wants to it's very Peter Pan syndrome, like having just these crazy ideas and like running with them. And yeah, we could face like a little bit of a challenge with that. So I don't know though. I think it can be fun to like be very optimistic. We just sometimes we need like a grounding force with that.
Yeah, it's like Mercury came off of the square with Saturn, which was last week. We talked about like bad news or just kind of feeling more depressed mentally. And then
Mm-hmm.
Jupiter is like the opposite of that. And Jupiter can help build up Mercury and give it big ideas and big expansion and feeling really powerful again. And like, oh, that didn't work, but this is this new idea. And then you just take it and run with it. But you can be obviously like too blinders on, too much in your own beliefs and not paying attention to other people because you're so, Sagittarius and Jupiter is so much about the feeling of
Mm-hmm.
confidence and the
Mm-hmm.
feeling of knowing the truth. Like that's philosophy.
Yeah, that's so true.
And
Hmm.
so you can be a little bit too confident in your approach and beliefs with that day, but it can be good for problem solving and creative thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I think if anything, like it might just be a day where you feel like really optimistic about your plans and your ideas. Um, and take that for what it's worth. It's nice to have days where, we are full of like hopes and dreams of the future. We all like to be like touched by Jupiter at some point, the Jupiterian energy. So in the mind, I think it's like a refreshing space too. I know it's like in detriment, but I think a lot of us can get like trapped in our heads. So I think it's nice to have like a fresh perspective on things.
Optimism in your head can be very helpful no matter how delusional it is.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there is a lot of theme of like delusion this week, and not in necessarily a bad way, but the next day on the 18th, the sun in Scorpio is trining Neptune, which is just
Hmm.
another element of like being in your own world, being in your own experiences and your own beliefs, and like that feels really good. And it is a little more not grounded though. There's not a lot of grounding energy this week.
No,
We
there's
have
not.
we have Venus and Cap, but like that's it. The sun and trining Neptune can be a lot of like, especially coming off of the Mercury opposite Jupiter, and then the sun trining Neptune's like, oh, I am so confident in myself. I am so confident that it's gonna work. Like I know, I figured it all out. And that's a good place to be at times, but you have to temper yourself a little bit too, I think.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's hard to do with like Neptune energy. You get kind of like lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, Sun represents awareness, and yeah, that trining Neptune makes it a little bit like delusional. So our awareness of things or our awareness of ideas in some ways, like getting touched by that delusion, like you said. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it can also be like we can spin it. We can make it like also hopefulness. We're just having a little bit of a hopeful beginning of the week, I think. Which can be good because I think a lot of us like, how far are we? We're 2 weeks past election at this point. Um,
Hmm.
I'm not sure if anything will have changed, but I think there was a lot going on in that time frame where there's been a lot of like fear mongering and just a lot of like heavy thought topics. So I think coming off of that it just can be like a little nice, like hopeful reprieve from things.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I was also thinking, to your point, like a positive spin to the start of the week is that you can also like reclaim your faith and reclaim
Mm-hmm.
your trust in the world too. Like both Jupiter, very much so, is about not just philosophy, but like what you believe in. It's the religion, it's the cult leader. And, Neptune too is the oneness and the connection and the comfort that you receive from spirituality and from that space. So these 2 days can be really good for anchoring into your beliefs and like being solid, at least in that. Like, if nothing else is solid in your life, like, it's true for you.
Yeah, I think you brought up a really good point. Like, I didn't think about that, but those two signs are very heavily connected to spirituality. So, like you said, maybe just connecting to like something greater or like a greater force will even be helpful in the process of like, hey, maybe everything is kind of like messy around me, but where can I put my faith in, and could be like a couple days where we're like, okay, I'm gonna like turn all these worries over to something greater.
Exactly. It'd
Mm.
be a couple good days to like not be on social media too, I feel like.
That's true. I mean, I think all of us could probably benefit from just throwing our phones in the ocean. Neptune.
I have been in that trap lately where I've just been like scrolling. I'm like, why am I doing this? This does not make me feel good.
I
Like,
know, right? It like if you actually assess how you emotionally feel afterwards, you're like, dang, I actually don't feel good, like energetically. Why did I just do all that?
no, exactly. And so this could be coming back to like what is actually your faith and feels good for you. Both of these kind of want you to feel good again.
Yeah, I
So,
agree. I think like Sagittarius in general, like when we have planets in Sagittarius, especially we have the sun approaching Sagittarius here, there's going to be a lot more emphasis on what feels good.
yes,
Um,
exactly.
Mm-mm.
So moving on, and on the 19th of November, we get Pluto's return to Aquarius.
Oh, I
Finally,
bet you've heard about it.
it's all the pop rage and pop astrology.
You know it.
I like everyone talking about Pluto and Aquarius and associating it with the election. Like, no, Pluto was in Capricorn with the election. That was like the whole point. But
Yeah.
so Pluto was in Aquarius in late January of 2024, all the way up to like August 30th of 2024. So a big chunk of this year already. And
Yes.
so you know this energy. It's not unknown to you. It is the final ingress, though. We are not coming back to Capricorn for a bit or ever in our lifetimes. We'll never
Yeah.
see Capricorn again. So
Let's you
goodbye.
reincarnate back. Yeah. You can
Yeah.
reincarnate back and let us know how it goes.
Yeah. No, I
Mm-mm.
wouldn't. I refuse to reincarnate back to a Pluto and Cap energy. So
True. True. Well, you reincarnated this time to a Pluto and Cap, so
I'm not doing it again, bitches.
okay.
Okay.
I don't
Um,
mm-mm.
But yeah, I mean, this is a new, like, what is the exact year? We've been saying 20, but is it really 20 years? I am really curious.
No, I think can it? It's like it doesn't spend equal amounts in each sign. It does it?
No, it doesn't at all. It has a highly ecliptic
Like,
orbit.
yeah.
So wait, I'm gonna pull up my trusty ephemeris here.
Ephemeris. And I'll also have one. Break that old crusty out.
But like, okay, here we go. Here we go. We get some Pluto and Pisces and Jesus Christ. Hold on. Cheese and rice. Sorry.
Yeah.
My family's coming back in town. I gotta correct myself.
Let me see if I can find it too. Where's my
I
ephemeris?
got it. So it's like 2044. Yeah, 20, like literally January 2044. So that is quite exactly 20
20
years.
years. Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
So
Mm-mm.
we are
What the
now
next
in,
20 years? Yeah.
yeah, the next 20 years is wherever Aquarius is in your chart, in your what house that is for you, is you get a 20-year intensification really digging deep into the themes of that house, really digging deep into the power dynamics there, what subconscious energy you're holding there, the secrets there. Like, that's going to be a very important theme for you.
Yeah, I think like, Pluto as through its 20-year cycle in that particular sign, you're just getting a total transformation. Like it
Yeah.
really is like a total 360. Is it 360 or 180? I don't know. Anyways, it's like a total revamp, right?
180, 360, you go back to where you start.
Okay, so not that one. So anyways, you get like a total revamp. So for context, like we can talk about some like personal experiences. So Pluto is just ending my ninth house. Like Capricorn was my ninth house. So I just went through a 20-year cycle. I think if that was totally 20 years with Capricorn in my ninth and Pluto in my ninth. And I think that journey for me was largely about like traveling. And at the very, not the very beginning, but mostly at the beginning of the cycle, I had this like urge to travel so bad, but I felt like I couldn't. And then eventually, like moving through, I got the opportunity to travel, and that was like a big thing for me. So, um, that and like higher education, I've spent like 10, at least 10 of the years or more in higher education. So that's like
And you
very,
learned astrology too
and I
during
learned
that.
astrology. Yeah. It's like very ninth house themes, getting a total transformation. I'm completely different before or after than I was before. So Maddie's happening in year six. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I think I've talked about it before on here, but it was just all about my workplace relationships, a lot to do with, do I like working for other people or do I need to work for myself? I jumped between those two the entire time Pluto was in Cap. And Pluto's last return to Cap, I've been in an interesting position with my job, also gaining power. So it is a lot about power and control with who I'm working with. And again, that decision, like, can I work with other people? Well, the answer
That's
is no.
true. The answer is sorry, but no. Yeah. That's so
um,
funny because Capricorn in the six, I feel like wants to be the boss. They're like, actually, I'll be deciding. Thank you. Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of interesting work experiences during that time and quit a lot of jobs. So I mean, but I don't want you to like obsess over this because like we just said, these were long,
Hmm.
long-term themes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, think about it. Like, if you think about it, like I said, like my higher education thing was probably more than 10 years because I took a break in the middle. But like I said, yeah, it really does. It takes time. Like, it's not something that you're going to be like noticing within the first like year or two or three. You're just getting started. It's like so slow. But by the end of it, you'll definitely have the answers to like what it meant for you. But anyways, in general, you can look to wherever Aquarius is in your chart to which area you'll be doing a lot of transformation in.
Yeah. And I think collectively, Pluto and Capricorn, just real quick to touch on the larger scale dynamics, like Pluto and Cap was a lot about regaining traditional government control. Like there were a lot of wars with Pluto and Cap, especially in the Middle East, and dealing kind of changing of the stock market. And I think Aquarius, both of these signs are still ruled by Saturn. And so the shift into Aquarius is about, I think, a lot of crypto. Cryptocurrency is big. I don't know if you know this. I only know this because of my partner, but like United States has like bought up billions of dollars of crypto. Like they're just holding it in Bitcoin for themselves. Like they've just been buying it all and like hoarding it.
I don't get
And
that for 1 second.
I mean, cool. Could you pay off some debt with that? Like, I don't know, but
No, I think I could not. It's like literally. Oh
But
my
like,
goodness.
yeah, I literally think I mean, there's speculation in the crypto markets that United States is going to try and regulate it. And that would be so Pluto and Aquarius because crypto was meant to break away from the traditional cash and money and pegging it to the dollar and be something that's free formed and not controlled by the government. But of course, Pluto and Aquarius be like, oh no, can't have that, can't have collective wealth. Got to make sure we control that too.
No, literally. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it would be like, yeah, like you said, like trying to control the uncontrollable. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll see a lot with, the artificial intelligence, AI, and all of that. It's just going to get more intense. And it was more intense when Pluto was in Aquarius earlier this year. So,
Mhm. Well, I think Aquarius in itself also represents like a very rebellious sign, you know? It's
yeah.
very rebellious. It's very like just off the beaten path. It would be interesting to see like what control metrics try to come to place through the
Yeah.
course of that and how that kind of plays out because I think we are, like you mentioned, like facing this upgrade in technology and stuff, and we will be continuing along that path. It's so crazy to me now, like that I drive down the road and see a cyber truck.
I know. And
But
you're
first
like
of all,
in
they're so
bumfuck Tennessee.
no. First of all, they're so ugly. I'm sorry if you own one, but they are so ugly. And then second of all, like it does look so futuristic. Like people
Right?
like I'm driving with people that are from really small towns and they are like, "Excuse me right now? What is that?" So
I
it's
know exactly what you
funny.
mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, we will definitely see like some continued technological advancement and yeah, power dynamics between that.
Yeah, and we will get a taste of like Pluto and Aquarius this week because the sun enters Sagittarius on November 21st. So, yay, Sag season. And will promptly sextile Pluto and Aquarius because they're both at like 0 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So, that sun being our awareness, it's a sextile. It's not necessarily a lot, but I do think it will give us something of like, ooh, a shift, a big shift kind of thing.
Yeah, it might be too because I know we mentioned that it was like it's a really long transit and it's going to be a long time for us to feel it, but when it does make that shift over, it might be like we can energetically feel that, like initial change happening.
I think so. I just, even if it's subtle, but like, and two, one thing to think about that we didn't talk about a little bit before, but we should, is that you may feel Pluto's absence in Capricorn more
That's
than
interesting.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So reflecting, maybe that's a better place to go is around Sag season is reflecting on Pluto and Cap, the last 15, 20 years of Pluto and Cap,
Mm-hmm.
and then recognizing the Pluto's left that, like, what does that mean to like kind of decrease the intensity and power in Capricorn for you now?
I know that's what I was thinking too. Like, will it kind of feel like the notch has been turned down a little bit? Like things are maybe a little bit easier. You don't have to like worry about those things necessarily so much anymore because Pluto can represent fear. So you might just not have like the same amount of like anxiety attention to those things when it shifts out.
Exactly. So
Mm-mm.
that may be a better point of reflection than worrying about what Pluto and Aquarius is going to bring.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah.
So but that's fun. And then, the sun in Sag is more enjoyable. There's a little bit more play, more expansion of the mind, and just shifting a little bit more to the fire energy and passion
Hmm.
and self-expression and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, Sagittarius is like the celebration in the middle, or not the middle, I guess. When does winter start? When is the solstice?
It's no, it's the mutable sign. So we are transitioning from fall to winter with Sag season. So Capricorn starts winter officially December
Mm,
21st around there. It's the
interesting.
solstice. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. I do think though, Sagittarius in itself is a more like celebratory sign. It's like, it enjoys like being around friends, having like higher level discussions. Like it's like you said, it's a fiery sign. So it's just kind of more like joyful. And I think it'll feel nice, like coming out of Scorpio. I feel like Scorpio's always like, we talked about transformation with Pluto, but Scorpio's always kind of transformational. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that was that like if you think about like the year, the wheel of the year, kind of
Mm-hmm.
witchcraft way, but you know, even that the fixed sign Scorpio is really about that like significant decomposing and letting go and falling away. Like that's death, like the fall season is about death. And then
Mm-hmm.
that's the fixed sign Scorpio, and then Sag, as you get to the mutable sign, you're celebrating what you've let go. You're celebrating what you created space for. And maybe you haven't planted the seed yet. That's Capricorn. Capricorn one will do the work and plant the seed. But Sagittarius is like kind of like the freedom that you get from letting all the baggage die.
Yeah, it's like the light at the end of the tunnel toward a situation. Wait, that wasn't right. Sort of situation. Yes, so anyways, I think that'll be also a nice energetic shift. Just coming out of Scorpio, not needing everything to be so heavy. Like I think what's interesting is like Sagittarius can add lightness to wherever you, because it's ruled by Jupiter, it kind of like lightens things up. So wherever you have Sag in your chart, um, can like just add a little bit of like lightness to that area. Like I have Sag in my eighth, and eighth is like normally like a transformational space, but it just sees it with a little bit more, like it doesn't take it so seriously, you know?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Mm-mm.
So a little positive kind of shift a bit. And then we end this week on November 22nd. Venus in Capricorn is sextiling Saturn. You know, that's our little bit of grounded. Venus in Cap is helping us get done some work and helping us be more practical and minded. And maybe on that sextile to Saturn is like commitment to the work or commitment to another, or some sort of relationship being solidified or built up wherever you need that extra work or responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like this is a good little aspect that we have right here for like work related things. Especially if you like started the week off like hopeful about that, about some sort of project, if it were to relate to work, like the end of the week here is going to give you like that little bit of like groundedness and boost to like follow it through.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's movement. This is a pretty decent week. I think out of all the weeks that we've had in November, yeah, this is definitely the best week that we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean, I think with that, just kind of stay steady, take care of yourself the most, like focusing on your beliefs and your truth. That's very much Sag, I think.
Yeah, it really is. Yes, Sag can be kind of, I think the reason why Mercury is like fallen here is because it can kind of like be so optimistic that the details are missing, you know?
Right.
Yeah, so you can be like so much in your own like righteousness, because Sag can also be very righteous that you
Yes.
forget to consider other perspectives.
Yes. But there is that element of those hyper self-righteousness that offers you the faith and protection from sort of fears. If you're so truth and you're so grounded in this truth, like you can't be swayed, it does give you that sort of like ability compartmentalized and step away from the fears. So it's a balancing act. Like obviously you don't want to go too far in this, but there is something about just letting yourself reground this week into what is most important for you. All
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
right. Well, that pretty much wraps us up for this week. So if you want more content, you want more from us, then follow us on Two Girls Talk Transits on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Mm-hmm. You can find me, Heal Dot on Earth, on Instagram. And Maddie, where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram as well at maddie.delray, and my website is at maddiedelray.com. So we will see you all next week.
See you.
Bye.